Hi there, here is part 2 of my 3-part series of videos showing how I construct and paint a Lord of the Rings diorama showing Gandalf the White riding out onto the plains of Gondor to face the Witch King and his wraith. Part 1 shows the construction of the base. This part will show the painting of Gandalf and his horse Shadowfax. These models are from the mid-80s, so they're cast in metal. They're a little less detailed and slightly smaller than the more modern plastic versions, but are no less exciting and spectacular. I'll be using mostly greys for these figures, and I am using a mixture of older Citadel paints which I am mixing to the correct shades. I start with Shadowfax, and using a base coat brush and a light mid to grey shade, I paint the whole model. The base area of the model will be done after I've added it to the base of the diorama. I am starting with a light grey colour and adding black to change the shade as I go. I have now darkened the shade and add much more water to create a wash. I paint this on quite heavily and then wipe off the excess with a paper towel. I deepen the shadow area with another shade darker. I now change to a flat brush and start to dry brush the light grey onto the areas of the model I want to highlight. The dry brush technique requires the unthinned paint to be added to the brush and then as much of it removed from the bristles onto a paper towel before adding to the model. A very light touch is needed for this. A light brown colour for the hooves and eyes and Shadowfax is finished. It's now time for Gandalf himself. As this is to show him as Gandalf the White, I will be using greys again. The base coat is nearer to an off-white than anything else, with just a hint of grey. I paint all his clothes and hat. This time I use a detail brush with increasingly darker shades of grey for the shadow area, painting on a thinner line each time. Flesh colour for the face and hands, which I will add a wash of thinned down brown for the shadow details. I use burnt umber for the leather bag, sword sheath and the band around the hat. I will dry brush these later with a much lighter shade of brown, which will help highlight and to give these items depth and a slightly worn look. The staff also gets the same treatment. I now use a dark grey wash thinned down for Gandalf's beard and hair. Although there's not a great deal of detail in this model, this, in fact, can make the figure more interesting to paint, as it is like having a blank canvas. One last dark grey wash over the shadow areas, just to deepen these areas, but not heavy enough to cover over the paint I have already done. And that's it. It's now time to join the two models together. A little super glue is all that's needed. The model is now ready to be added to the diorama. Please look for part 3 of this series, where I'll be painting and finishing the main base and adding the figures. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.